Well, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to speak to you about a topic today that is not my specialty. So it will be interesting to see how it goes. Okay, so I'm just going to try and share screen. Abdul, you can see my slides?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we're going to talk about dementia, hearing loss, and hearing aids. And most of it is stuff that I've researched myself and gone through the experience myself, and I wanted to share it with you. So I'm an independent cardiologist. I do not seek any referrals for anything. I receive absolutely no funding from pharma or industry or any institution for any of the educational programs that I participate in. I develop the content of the presentation and the format of all my presentations myself. As I said, I'm not a dementia expert. I'm not a neurologist. I'm not an ear, nose, throat specialist. I'm not an audiologist. I do not specialize in hearing aid sales, or I receive no commission from any company with regarding to hearing aids. And some of you probably know more about dementia and hearing aids and stuff than I do, but I'm just going to share my experience with you today. Just to give you a little bit of a disclaimer, during the presentation, if I use he or she or wife or husband, these are all reasons I use those words to illustrate a point, but they are all interchangeable with regards to gender and stuff. So please do not get all carried away about whether I said she or he or wife or this. Just try to concentrate on the point that I'm trying to illustrate. Okay. So the word dementia is not actually a diagnosis. It's not a diagnosis of the disease. It's an umbrella term which which includes symptoms such as memory loss, confusion, personality changes, many manifestations of dementia. So it's like a syndrome, but there are many different diseases that cause dementia. And some of those are listed under the umbrella here. So patients may have vascular dementia or straightforward idiopathic Alzheimer's disease or other types of dementia due to multiple concussions or things like that. But they would manifest clinically and manifest to others in their family and others as having dementia. But the underlying pathology and the structural abnormalities that led to the dementia may be different. All right. Okay, so most of us know the symptoms of dementia. We've seen some of our family members or friends or movies or stuff and recognize people who have dementia, the memory loss, the withdrawal from social activities, misplacing belongings, knowing where the glasses are or the keys, having confusion about space and finding the car in the parking lot and all those kind of things. And when I see people like that or know my colleagues who develop dementia, I develop an inner fear myself. And I'm sure many of you have experienced that fear, that maybe, am I getting it? Am I going to get this dementia? And it sort of motivates you to think about it, motivates you to learn more about it, and motivates you to see if there is some way that you can try to prevent that from happening to you. So that's how my journey started, with the inner fear that am I going to be like these two of my very good cardiology colleagues who are now both completely disabled with their dementia. And it just frightens me whenever I go visit. So, that's a common thread that many of us go through. So when you look at dementias, about 60 to 65% of them, we cannot find a real cause for why they became demented. Genetics may play a role, aging obviously is important, but in about 35 to 40% of people, they have risk factors. They have certain issues in their lifestyle or in their health issue that leads them to go ahead and have dementia. All right. So we have a group of people who have dementia who have associated risk factors, and a larger group of people who have dementia who we have no possible reason to attribute as to why they develop dementia. All right. So in 2020, Lancet is one of the most prominent medical journals in the world. And Lancet put together a commission of experts to study this whole issue of dementia. And they put out a major report. And amongst the reports they put out, one of them was Dementia, Prevention, Intervention, and Care. And this is now called the Lancet Commission Report. And in the Lancet Commission report, they identified 12 factors that led to people being more likely to develop dementia. And they found these factors in 35 to 40% of patients who had dementias. So if you look at all the people who are suffering from dementia, about 40% of them will have these risk factors that contributed to them developing the dementia. So let's look at these 12 factors. Physical inactivity, smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, air pollution, infrequent social contact, loneliness, not having friends, not participating in groups, obesity with diet issues and weight gain, hearing impairment, depression, diabetes, hypertension, less education, and I will elaborate on this in a minute or two, recurrent head injuries, concussions. And so they found that these 12 factors, when people had these issues in their health or in their lifestyle, they were more likely to develop dementia. And therefore, these were looked at as preventable, modifiable factors that could probably decrease your risk of developing dementia. Now, you notice that on this slide, I have added hearts on many of the risk factors. And you can see that these hearts are risk factors that we often attribute to heart disease. So let's look at that a little further. So the Harvard University this year took the Lancet Commission report and said, how can we distill this into 12 ways that regular lay people can understand how to keep your brain young? Because when your brain gets too old, you develop dementia. So they came up with these 12 factors or 12 things that people should do to try and prevent themselves from having dementia. So, lots of mental stimulation, puzzles, and watching, interesting, complex movies and all kinds of things like that. So mental stimulation, physical exercise, regular physical exercise, staying active, improved diet, lots of fruits, vegetables, nuts, olive oil, all the things that you have heard me talk about in my heart health talks. Improve your blood pressure, improve blood sugar, improve your cholesterol, consider taking low dose aspirin, avoid tobacco, don't use excess alcohol, avoid depression and loneliness and sleep deprivation, protect your head from recurrent injuries, concussions, build social networks. So you are a gregarious person participating in groups. And you will have noticed that of the 12, 9 are the same things that we teach for people to have good heart health and to prevent heart disease. So having a heart healthy lifestyle is a dementia prevention lifestyle. So you do the same things for heart health and preventing heart disease, and they will go ahead and help you prevent having dementia. Because a lot of the dementias have a vascular pathology to it, and the blood vessels are involved in the brain. So the take-home points are that 30 to 40% of dementias have modifiable, potentially preventable risk factors towards the development of dementia. And a heart healthy lifestyle is the same as a dementia prevention lifestyle. So it's not like you have to do something different for dementia and something different for heart prevention. And if I get the opportunity again someday that Abdul allows me to come talk to you some things about cancer, I will show it to you categorically with evidence that the heart healthy lifestyle is also a cancer prevention lifestyle. So it is about healthy lifestyle that prevents all these bad diseases. All right, let's move forward. So let's look at these potentially 40% modifiable risk factors in the development of dementia. And you can see that there are some risk factors that occur early in life. Less education in early life, early childhood education. People who don't get good education early in life, who do not participate in early childhood education, have a higher likelihood of developing dementia. Hearing loss in early life, midlife, plays a big role in developing dementia. Recurrent concussions. And then you look at midlife and later life, are all these factors of hypertension and depression and diabetes and stuff, which lead to the development of dementia. So different factors play a role in very young age. In middle age, there are different factors that play a role, and hearing loss begins in middle age. It's only later in life that people admit or actually are diagnosed as having hearing loss. And by then, sometimes it's a little too late. And later life, there are other factors that lead to the development of dementia. So, as you noticed from the previous slide, dementia is the number one most, hearing loss is the number one most modifiable risk factor for the development of dementia. This is from the Lancet Commission report. All experts in the dementia field participated in developing that report. So I could go into a complex discussion of how untreated hearing loss leads to improper processing of speech that you hear, and then what happens to you in terms of your personality and your social behavior, and how that leads to cognitive decline, which is politically correct term of dementia, is saying, you got cognitive dysfunction. But I don't want to do that today, because we are not trying to do a pathological discussion. And there is the hypothesis of how hearing loss ends up with dementia. But I'm going to show you one picture, and I think it says everything that you need to hear. On one side of the picture is the scan of a brain of a person who has normal hearing. And you can see the brain is fully developed. It goes almost all the way up to the outer edge of the skull. The blood flow pattern is beautiful. Everything's nice and green and moist and fresh. And look at this side. This is the scan of the brain of a person who has had a hearing loss for a period of time. And look at the brain. It's shriveled, it's dried up. It's almost wrinkly and all that stuff. It almost looks like the wrinkles and face of a very old person who is demented. The brain looks like that. So this picture tells you that when you have hearing loss, you can get this sort of a pattern in your brain. Now, other causes of dementia also make the brain look like that. But hearing loss is one of those causes that makes your brain shrivel up like this. Okay, so this slide makes 2 or 3 points. This is taking people who are about 60 years old, almost 38,000 people, and followed them for the next 18 to 20 years. And over the years, they looked at people who had normal hearing and how many of them developed dementia. Yes, from 60 to 80 or 85, there are people who are going to develop dementia, even if they have normal hearing, because there are other causes of dementia. And I explained those to you. But you look at the development of dementia in people over time, if they have a hearing loss. And you can see that a very large percentage, almost 50% of them over the period of time that this study went on, had developed dementia. So it makes a very important point. The other point you will see at the bottom of this slide are the numbers of people that were being followed over the period of time in this study. And they started out with 38,000 people, and by about 16 to 18 years, they had only about 10,000 people left, while the others died during the process. The problem is with the people who lived. That's what we all say. If I die, that's fine. But if I don't want to live and be old and then be disabled and have dementia, and this is what these people ended up having. They lived, but they had significant dementia. So one has to be very careful what we do in midlife and early adult life to see what will happen to us much later on in life. Okay, so with regards to hearing loss, if you have normal hearing, yes, you're still going to develop dementia because of other causes. But if you have mild, moderate, or severe hearing loss, you end up having much higher risk, 5 times the risk of a person who does not have severe hearing loss. The person with the severe hearing loss has 5 times higher chance of developing dementia. So the next take-home point is that hearing loss is the #1 most modifiable risk factor for dementia. And working on that issue of correcting hearing loss is a very important point. All right, this slide is here for me to make a couple of points to you. It's a complex slide, don't worry about it. It basically shows that hearing loss is progressive. So as time goes on, you get more and more loss of hearing. And this loss of hearing primarily involves the higher frequencies of hearing. You lose the sound of the lead guitar and lose the sound of the violin, but you still hear the drums. And, so you begin to lose the higher frequencies. And then as time goes on, you completely, those brain cells that hear those higher frequencies are completely dead. There is nothing you can do to revive them again. But early on, there is chance of revival if you correct the hearing loss. So early correction stops or slows down this deterioration of cognitive function or of hearing. And in late stages, correction is incomplete and not fully effective. So you have got to catch hearing loss early. You've got to treat it early to prevent further hearing loss, because hearing loss is progressive. All right, what about memory? If you have mild hearing loss and you do not wear a hearing aid, you say, oh, it's only mild, it's okay, I don't hear these things, or there is some stigma, you don't want to wear a hearing aid. We have no stigma wearing glasses or contact lenses, and we have some stigma about a hearing aid. I don't know where that comes from. But anyway, if you don't wear a hearing aid and have mild hearing loss, you have a significant memory loss. You develop memory deficit. But if you wear a hearing aid, your memory is not impacted significantly as you age. If you have moderate to severe hearing loss, you also begin to develop significant memory deficit because you are not registering input. You're not registering things that people are saying or heard or what happened or this. Therefore, you cannot remember it. You can't recall something that you did not register. You with me? All right. So therefore, memory is much better preserved if you wear a hearing aid. Now, hearing loss, hearing aids, and cognitive decline. People who have no hearing loss over a period of time due to age develop cognitive function decline, and some will develop the full-blown syndrome of dementia, because there are many causes for dementia, and hearing loss is not the only one, but it is the most modifiable one. Now, if you look at the other end, people who have hearing loss but are not wearing hearing aids, that means they're not correcting their hearing loss, their cognitive function drops much faster and much more severely. And this is why they are more likely to get dementia. But if the person who has a hearing loss wears a hearing aid, he picks himself up on the graph, on the curve, and his slope is the same as the slope of a person who has no hearing loss. So he basically takes away the risk, this big risk of dementia here, by just correcting the hearing loss. Now, if somebody doesn't do that, it really makes me wonder about them if they're already demented now, that they are not willing to correct their hearing loss. All right, so research about hearing aids suggests that it delays dementia, improves quality of life, reduces loneliness because you're more socially interactive and connected, you have less anxiety, less depression, and you tend to have fewer falls. And that has been shown in multiple studies about that. Because sound is also extremely important in letting you know where and what is happening in space. And if your foot is touching something and you hear the sound, you're unlikely to go forward and trip. But if you don't hear that, you're likely to be tripping and falling. So the next take-home point is that correction, earlier the better. Correction of hearing loss decreases further progressive hearing loss, prevents dementia, decreases loneliness, and in general, improves quality of life. So I'm going to now, for the second part here, show you the disclaimer again. So you remember, I'm not a dementia expert, not a neurologist, not an audiologist. I'm not selling hearing aids. I'm not a hearing aid specialist. I get no money, no commission. I'm going to now take you through my journey of how I went through and decided on my hearing aids and what I did. Many of you can see me, but you can't see I'm wearing a hearing aid. In fact, my kids who visit me frequently or infrequently, as I would think, didn't know for 3 years that I was wearing a hearing aid. All right, audiology testing is very important. In the US, the FDA has recently approved that you can go buy hearing aids off the counter. In Canada, we do not allow that. You can only get a hearing aid after you have had audiology testing. That's the correct way. Audiology testing is extremely important, that you go to an audiologist, she or he puts you in that soundproof box, then does all the testing as to which frequencies you can hear, which frequencies you can't hear, because the line should be absolutely straight for all the frequencies, because you are supposed to be able to hear all the frequencies of the sound. But audiology testing shows where you are not able to hear certain frequencies. And in this case, it was in the right ear. Now, if you have the regular kind of hearing loss, the sensory neural hearing loss, then the left and the right ear should both be fairly equal in terms of their hearing loss and the types of frequencies that are missing. All right. But here, audiology testing showed something about this patient, that the left ear was hearing better, and the right ear is not hearing as well. This is not simple, straightforward aging hearing loss. This is something that has happened to this patient's right ear, previous infections, or has a eardrum problem, or has some little growth in the inner ear or something, so that the right ear is not hearing as properly as the left ear. So audiology testing then will refer you to an ear, nose, throat specialist, and then he or she will figure out why the right ear is not hearing as well. And it may be corrected due to a procedure that you may need to be done on your ear and may not need hearing aids. So audiology testing is very important. You should have your audiology testing done in at least 2 different places. It's free. In Canada, it's free. I don't know in other countries, but in Canada, it's completely free. You can go to one audiology place, you can go to another one, and I recommend you go to at least 2 different ones, because you will want to see if the consistency of the report is there. If both the reports are showing the similar thing, you get to know the people at that clinic, and you see if you're comfortable with them. Are they treating you nice? Are they really listening to what your concern is? Are they listening to your worries and concerns about the hearing aid and stuff? So you will then know how to proceed. So audiology testing is very important. Have it done in 2 different places. Look for consistency of report before you proceed with deciding on your hearing aid. Now, there are 2 basic types of hearing aids. The analog hearing aids, which is like the home line telephone with the little swivel thing we used to say, 2, 3, 9, 4, and make a phone call, hello. That's the analog hearing aids. The digital hearing aids is like your cell phone, right? And they've got multiple frequencies and technologies and stuff built into it. So the analog hearing aids are cheaper. They will give you a discount. They will make you hear. They increase the volume of the sound. But that's about all they do in a couple of channels. But it is a rough, poor way of improving your hearing. It's just basically increasing volume. All right. Whereas the digital hearing aids have multiple channels, and they pick up the hearing deficit based on that frequency, specifically on that frequency. How much has it supposed to be modified, amplified, noise correction, feedback correction? So the digital hearing aids are the modern hearing aids. You're not going to now install a home line telephone at your home when everybody and you are now basically using a mobile phone. So type of hearing aids are important. You need to then, the audiologist does custom programming. She will try and make sure that this line, which is where you are on, your deficit line, is brought up to this straight line with the little programming connection she does in that sound box when you are doing the audiology testing. So then she will get a hearing aid, she will program it on her computer so that all these frequencies are appropriately programmed. So when you do wear the hearing aid, you do develop this very smooth, normalized hearing pattern. Then you should try those hearing aids for a couple of weeks. You should go back and give them feedback of how it is helping you, not helping, this is working, this is not working. And then she should reprogram the hearing aid at that point again. And she should retest you wearing those hearing aids again at that point, so that shows that everything is actually working properly. It is at this point that you negotiate the price. Do not pay up front. They may ask you to pay up front, but you can often say you want to wait until you've completed the full trial and then you will pay. Or if they insist on paying, you get a written thing from them which guarantees full refund for any cause at all or no cause at all if you decide you want to return the hearing aids. That is standard. Nobody should take your money for hearing aids that you will not use or don't feel comfortable with, okay? So then you go and wear those hearing aids again for 1 to 3 months and then decide how well things are going for you, all right? And then you come back, give them feedback, and if you are happy with it, that's when you decide to buy it. But during that 2 or 3 month period is the time when you now go do the shopping. Because now you will be comparing this very specific hearing aid to the price at Costco, to the price at Next Gen, or to the price at Hearing Life, because now you'll be comparing apples to apples. But if you did go price shopping before, you don't know exactly which hearing aid they're going to give you or what its capabilities are. And so you may feel like it's cheaper, but it's really not going to do the job. You're not going to like it. You're not going to wear it. And this is why a large number of people who have hearing aids don't wear their hearing aids or are frustrated with their hearing aids because they didn't do the process right. Right. So the modern hearing aids are designed based on this type of research that is done. Over 15,000 people were checked and asked, what are the important issues that you feel should be there in your hearing aid, or what are the features of the hearing aid that you find most useful? So based on such data, then they develop different features in your hearing aids. So different channels, the noise reduction in the background, the connectivity with your phone or the TV, the feedback so you don't get a boomerang effect of the sound, directionality so you can tell where the sound is coming from. You're walking this way, but somebody talks behind you, you can hear. So all these features are then built into the modern hearing aids. All right, so, the one big question is, should I wear a hearing aid that goes into my ear, a small one, or should I wear one that sits behind my ear and then the speaker goes inside the ear? Yes, these are cheaper, the ones that just go inside the ear. They are somewhat invisible, but a lot of them are fairly large and very visible. But they are not suitable for all types of hearing loss. And these are cheaper, and people often buy these. You have to replace the battery manually each time. They are not rechargeable. You have to, it doesn't have all the features, so you don't actually like the hearing aid. It gives you boomerang noise, and you don't wear them. And that becomes a real issue. And then you go ahead and unfortunately develop dementia. The behind the ear hearing aids are such that you can have absolutely all the features in them, all. You may not want all of them, so you may only want some, but you can get all the features available today in the behind the ear hearing aid. And every type of hearing loss can be corrected with these type of hearing aids. Unless, obviously, if you have had hearing loss for a long time and your brain cells that hear are dead, I mean, you can only do so much at that point. So that's the behind the ear hearing aid. And this sits behind the ear. This is a very, very high quality computer processor in there. It has an on-off button thing if you want. It amplifier is in there. The microphone's there. It has a transparent tube that goes to the speaker, and the speaker has a cap on it, so the wax in your ear and stuff does not damage or bother the speaker. So it is small. It comes in different colors. It has a transparent tube, and I don't know if you can see me, but you can't see my hearing aid. And I'm going to turn around, and I don't think you can see my hearing aid very much. It's the color, very much like my hair. The tube is transparent. The speaker goes deep into my ear because I have designed the cap in particular way, size, to fit right in. So it's not visible out there if that's your stigma that you have about the hearing aid. So these are my own hearing aids that I took a photo of. And if you notice from this hearing aid, my hearing aid has something sticking out from here, a little extra piece, little extra tiny piece. This is a very powerful antenna. It is in communication with the global positioning system satellites. So it provides me now directionality, source localization, and it works with the GPS system in my car or in my cell phone or Google Maps or wherever. So now I am connected by satellite and am completely aware where my body is in space and in in the room or in a hall or wherever. So this little antenna, you can customize the loop of it, the antenna length, and you can customize the cap. So I played around with different caps on the speaker until I found the one that fits my ear canal perfectly. And then I had the antenna cut and looped in just the perfect way, so it sits right in there, and therefore you cannot see this little thing that's in there. It's properly curved into the inside of my ear, and now I'm ready to take on the world. So I'm in the social hall, and and somebody, is sitting there. I've picked up my sharbat. I'm walking towards my chair in the back, and then somebody shouts, "Sadru is trying to call me," or "Alnur," and I hear the sound, but I have to stop for a moment and look around and figure out who called me. Now, if he doesn't say Alnur again, I have difficulty localizing it. But if I have this type of an antenna, he may be sitting in that corner, I'm walking that way, and he says Alnur from there. I know exactly where the sound came from. So that is a very important quality of life issue when you are in crowds, when you're amongst people, or in a crowded room or something. You can tell where the sound is coming from or what it is that who is trying to reach you or not. So there are many different types of modern hearing aids. Different companies make them. They all have the ability to have multiple features in them. I decided to go with Oticon because I decided first on the audiologist that I liked, and the testing that was done, and the comfort they gave me, and the willingness they had to completely agree to all my trial periods, no pay up front, all those kind of things, and lifelong service. All those things should come with the price without having to pay any extra. So that group of people that did all this thing for me, they had the best arrangement with this company, Oticon. And that's the reason why I went with the Oticon hearing aid. But you could be with a group that did excellent stuff for you, and they may be using Phonak as the company. And all of these have ability to do these features. So the next take-home point is that proper audiology evaluation, trial period at the beginning, trial period, longer one after, reprogramming, choice and type of hearing aid is all extremely important so that your quality of life improves properly and you truly wear your hearing aids regularly, and then you are less likely to develop dementia. So this is my model of hearing aid. I'm not promoting it, please. I'm just taking you through my personal journey. This hearing aid is a rechargeable fixed battery, so I don't have to be worrying about, trying to replace the battery. And, I'm at the wedding, my son's wedding, and my, daughter-in-law's father is giving a speech. And my hearing aid is dying, so I reach for the battery, and I'm trying to put the battery in, and it falls to the ground. And as you age, your hearing and everything is going as well, and your dexterity is going, and you are now trying to fiddle around with this battery while his speech is all finished, and he said all kinds of things about you, and you missed all that. All right. So, this is a fixed rechargeable battery. So what I do is at night, I have it plugged in. You can go directly to a USB port, or you can put it into this adapter, and this goes into the wall electrical plug, and it tells you the blue goes on the left, the red goes on the right. So the red one goes in the right ear, left one goes in. And if you forget all that, there is a little picture painted here on the side of this thing. So you know exactly how to charge your hearing aid. And I just put it in when I charge my cell phone at the time when I go to bed, and they're both by my bedside. And if I have put this thing all right and the lights are turned off, on that side, on the other side of that picture, are two lights that go on, which means everything is working fine. And when it's red, it's still charging, and it's fully charged, it will be green, and you know that everything is fine. So I told you this little thing is just painted on the side there. It's not like there's multiple wires hanging around. Right. Okay, you get so used to wearing your hearing aids and you get so familiar with them. You are so, you can't do without them. Literally, I can't now really do without my hearing aids, not just for hearing, because my hearing has improved considerably in the last 3 years since I started wearing the hearing aids early. So I don't really need my hearing aids now so much for sound amplification. I need my hearing aids for all these other features that I'm just going to tell you about, which has improved my quality of life tremendously. So because I wear them all the time, and sometimes I forget I'm wearing them when I'm shaving, or if I go into the shower, or the other day I took my grandkids into the swimming pool downstairs at our condo and forgot that my hearing aids were in. Well, all you do is just take the hearing aid out if they became wet. You get this little dehumidifier box with it. No extra charge. You should not have to pay for this. And it plugs in. You put your hearing aids in there, close the thing, the light is on, and when they are properly dried up, which takes about less than 10 minutes or so, the light will turn color, and you know that hearing aids are dry, dehumidified, and they're ready to use, and no damage has happened. So everything is perfect. So you need to get this, you need the charger, you need the dehumidifier box, and then you need to have Bluetooth in your hearing aid. And the reason you need to have Bluetooth in your hearing aid is you can communicate with your hearing aid wirelessly. So Bluetooth is no magic. It's just a wireless way of having one digital device communicating with another digital device. For example, my cell phone communicating with my TV if I wanted to change or do something or the other, all right? Or with another digital device with satellite in Google or whatever. So Bluetooth is just a wireless way of connecting two devices. So when you have the app, they will install the app for you on your phone. They will get it all programmed right for you for whatever things you want it to do. And it's extremely easy. Older people wear hearing aids. So all of this thing is made in such a way that older people can easily use these features and be able to maneuver or navigate with them. So you get a little app, and that's also included, should be included in the price. You should get not. And when you get the thing sorted out and pay, they should program the app for you to be able to do whatever you want to do. So I'll just go through this a little bit for you. So the app, when you press it, it has remote control. It has things it tells you about the hearing aid. There is just like, physical fitness thing on your cell phone or on your Apple Watch, you have hearing fitness issues in there. There's internet connecting issues. There's setting things. There's a guide in there if you just want to quickly check something. I probably, after 3 years of playing with it, use only about 50% of its capability. Just like in our sophisticated cars, there's so many little gadgets and devices. We only use some of them, don't use all of them. But the ones I use have really changed my life. It's made things so much better for me. So when you hit the hearing aid thing, you press that button, it tells you the left one has 27% battery left, the right one has 40% left. It says both are connected and those kind of things. So what happened here, this is Al, that's me, Al Nur. So it knows it's my hearing aids that it is talking about, all right? And that's all done at the initial programming. And this happened at 11:22 last night. So what had happened is the night before, or whichever time I had charged it, I might have reached in the night later on for something or the other, or knocked off the hearing aid or something. So the left one was not properly charged as much as the right one was. But I can easily tell that. I just have to touch the icon on the app and it will tell me that, all right? Then it has these other things, find my hearing aid, all right? So I hit that, and because my hearing aids have a GPS antenna and are connected to the global satellite positioning system in the universe, around the orbit, I mean. It will immediately, as soon as I find my hearing aids, this is what happens. It goes, says they are in North America, poof, they are in Vancouver, downtown, and it immediately, within 3 or 4 seconds, it goes rapidly like this. You often miss these steps, and it tells you they are right here. Both the left and the right hearing aids are right here, which is where I am sitting, right in front of the ocean there, and watching the water. And that's exactly where both my hearing aids are. Now, it is possible that yesterday I could have gone to my son's condo and visited with him, and then gone swimming with the grandkids, and had taken off my hearing aids, and I forgot to put them on. Or then I went to the spa, and when I went to the spa, one of them had fallen off and I didn't realize, and I came home, and now I'm hitting find the hearing aid. So this could show up at my son's condo, or left one could show up that it fell off at the spa, and I still have the right one here with me here. It is a lifesaver. You can never lose your hearing aid. You paid so much for it, you don't want to lose them. All right. So that's the find your hearing aid feature. So now, everybody thinks that the app is to increase the volume. So if you are not hearing properly, you can use your app and you can increase the volume. Yeah. So you can change the higher frequencies and stuff like that. So this one is controlling both your hearing aids, left and right. But I find it much more useful is when I want to decrease the hearing. I want to decrease the volume. Give you an example. There was social night on Friday night at headquarters Jamaat Khana here in Vancouver. We had chai, dinner, ras, music was playing. And I was sitting next to a gentleman and we were trying to talk. But my hearing aids is so powerful that the high frequencies of Nimet, who was singing, and the sound on the keyboard and all that guitar thing and all that stuff, and the ras, all that was so amplified because my hearing aids are so good that they were overwhelming the low frequency speech sound that I was having with this gentleman next to me. All I did was I went in there, touched this button and brought it down to -3 or -4. I cut out all that high, shrill, high-pitched stuff that was coming from the background, and I was listening to him and hearing him perfectly. And things were working well. Happens in restaurants. People are yapping away. There's some people making high-pitched noises and talking away, and cutlery and this and that. You can just turn it down, so you're cutting out the high frequency, which is overwhelming your system, and now you can hear the conversation around the table very well, and everything works well. So you learn to use this. Now I'm at a restaurant, and on the table on the right is this gentleman or this lady who's just going on and shrill voice or whatever, and we are sitting here, and it just is bothering, but you can't tell anybody anything at a restaurant or something like that. Well, I just separate my hearing aid. I just hit that double button and now make it separate. And now I can control the hearing aid on this side where I'm getting this high-pitched crap from all through dinner. And now I'm fine. I'm in a normal situation. I'm not being bothered. I'm enjoying the dinner. Everything is going well. So with phone calls, any sound or anything that happens in your cell phone now, through this app and Bluetooth, can go directly into my ears. I don't need any wire connection. I don't need those buds sitting on top of my ears, ugly things or anything like that. So let's say I get a phone call. And I have this, my app already to Al-Nur, which shows that the sound is going into my ear, right? So then if the phone call comes, I just touch the phone, nobody hears the rings, now the sound is in my ear. I hear the rings in my ear. I just start talking, or whoever is talking to me, I can hear directly in my ear, even if there is lots of sound or noise or other people around. Nobody can hear what the other person is saying. So I have privacy and control. It's not like a speakerphone where everybody else hears. It's not like the car phone where other people in the car can hear. This is only I can hear, and I can activate it, and I only am bothered by the rings. Nobody else around me is bothered by the rings. Same, if there's a voicemail, I want to listen to a voicemail. You don't want everybody around to hear your voicemail. You can hold the phone to your ear, but if you put the speaker on a speakerphone, everybody else is going to hear the voicemail. You don't know what that person has left a message on the voicemail. But this way you hear the voicemail only yourself, directly into your ear. Same goes for music. If somebody sent you a WhatsApp video or something which has music, you can watch the video and prevent others from seeing it. But now you don't have them hearing the sound. You can still hear the sound as well and hear it. And I have a, music on my Spotify. I show you that I can then have the sound come directly into my ear, or it can be on the speakerphone or iPhone. When I'm in my car, it will show my car phone or car speakers or whatever. So it allows me hand-free and switching between different places where I want the sound to come from. When I took this picture, I was listening to Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, Teri Meri, the song. Anyway, so I can hear that, and no one else is bothered in the car, and I'm listening to my sound music, and everything is fine. And the quality of the sound is absolutely stereophonic and symphony type. It is far better than the sound coming directly from your cell phone or on the speakerphone or from the TV if you're listening to a song or video or something. It is absolutely symphony quality stereophonic sound. And while I'm listening to the music and I'm driving in the car, and a phone call comes, well, as soon as the phone call comes, the music automatically turns down by itself. I can listen to the phone, make the talk, do everything. As soon as the phone call is over, the music starts up again and picks up the volume, and I'm listening to it exactly like I was before the phone call came. And same goes for instructions from your Google Map or your Waze. I use Waze as my directional thing for GPS things. And it's so irritating if you're a passenger in the back seat or something, and constantly that lady is giving instructions. 200 meters, turn left, this street, that. This way nobody else is bothered in the car. I'm the only one who is listening to the instructions, and I'm going through this and that, and everybody's wondering, how come I know all these roads and I got there without any problem? So it has many. So while this was going on, I was listening to Lata Mangeshkar, Satyam Shivam Sundaram song. I have my own playlist, which is 11 hours and 49 minutes long. So you almost never hear the same song again. It's playing in the background or whatever. And each song is chosen to bring about a special memory or a special feeling or so. And there is absolutely no way you can tell what the next song is going to be. And every next song actually surprises you. So if anybody's interested in my playlist, I'm happy to share that and talk to you more about that. But this hearing aid allows me to play in this higher stratosphere of sound control. So this is the final feature that I'm going to talk to you about, which is probably, even if I just had it for this feature and didn't have a problem of any other kind, I would still have bought the hearing aids just for this feature. So what this is you get a little TV box. It's a small box about this size, all right? There's a little connection at the back, which is the power, and then this cord connects to the back of your cable box or of your TV cable system, or the Apple box or whichever type you have. It's absolutely easy and straightforward. Takes less than 2 minutes to just take this. There's a spot in there that tell you ahead of time where to put it. And you just put it in there, it's connected. So now this thing is a digital system, and it is by Bluetooth connected to your speakers in your ear. So this is the app, and this is everything that's going on. And you see this little picture of the TV. So that's all you have to do is just hit the TV picture, right? And now you are, whatever's going on your TV is connected to your speakers. So you can increase or decrease the volume, or if other people don't want to hear what you want to hear on TV or something, they can mute the TV, and you can still hear the cricket commentary still going on, and there's a social gathering or whatever, and a hockey game, you can still hear the commentary, but nobody else knows that you're listening or can hear that. You require no headphones, no wires, no changing connections or anything. It's all done right from the beginning, and it's set. Well, it says device 2 here when I've hit the TV button. I click that, it says I'm connected to device 2, which is the TV in my living room. But if I want to do this in the bedroom, I just go to device 1, and now I have the bedroom TV directly into my ear. My wife wants to sleep, I want to still listen to the news or watch a movie or whatever. I can watch, put the TV on mute, but I can hear the sound and control the volume for myself. She has no complaints. Our marriage is now progressing a little bit longer, and life is so much better. So the take-home point here is that modern hearing aids deliver many more features than just sound amplification. It significantly improves the quality of your life. Yes, so you like to have selective hearing loss. It's a side effect of marriage. You can have it turned on to listen to your wife, or just the TV, or turn it off. It's a joke. Listen or ignore. But you have certain features, the big things now. It's a special hearing aid. It filters out criticism. It amplifies compliments. Doesn't do that, but it's just a joke. So thank you very much. I probably went over time, and I appreciate you listening to my personal story. This is my own research, which I did for my own self, and I'm sharing it with you, hoping that you will have benefited somewhat from this. Thank you.